Last Monday, a delivery driver shut down an entire city street like he owned it. Hundreds of people were trapped behind him, buses, cars, angry residents. And when people begged him to move, he laughed and said, "I'm allowed." What he didn't know was that one annoyed passenger on that bus was about to waste hours of his life chasing money that never even existed. If you love stories where rude people finally get exactly what they deserve, make sure to subscribe right now. Hit like, drop a comment telling me the pettiest revenge you've ever seen, and let's jump into one of the most satisfying acts of payback I've heard in a long time. So, this happened in the middle of downtown during rush hour. You know the kind of traffic that already feels like punishment? Horns echoing between buildings, people packed shoulder to shoulder on buses, pedestrians weaving through intersections like they're in survival mode. Everyone's exhausted, everyone's late, and nobody has patience left. I was on a city bus crawling through one of those narrow one-lane streets where there's literally nowhere to go if something blocks the road. And then everything stopped. At first, nobody thought much of it. We figured maybe there was construction ahead, or somebody was trying to parallel park badly. But after 5 minutes of not moving an inch, people started standing up and craning their necks out the windows. That's when we saw him. A massive construction company truck was parked directly in the only driving lane, not partially, not with hazards on while the driver quickly unloaded something. This guy had planted the truck like he owned the city. And the worst part? He was in absolutely no hurry. The driver was casually unloading equipment into a building while traffic backed up behind him for blocks. Cars couldn't turn around because the streets were too tight. The bus definitely couldn't reroute. Every second he stayed there, more vehicles got trapped. The bus driver leaned on the horn. Nothing. A resident from one of the nearby apartment buildings actually stepped outside and yelled, "You can't park there. You're blocking the whole street." And this guy, this absolute genius, just yelled back, "I'm making a delivery. I'm allowed." Allowed. That word stuck in my brain. Because it wasn't just what he said. It was the way he said it. Smug, dismissive. Like everybody else's time meant absolutely nothing compared to his. Meanwhile, people on the bus were groaning. One woman started panicking because she was late picking up her kid. A guy in a suit muttered that he was going to miss an interview. The driver kept shaking his head under his breath. And there this dude was, strolling back and forth with boxes like he was on a relaxing afternoon walk. I could actually feel my blood pressure rising. You ever meet somebody who's so casually inconsiderate that it almost feels personal? That was this guy. Finally, after what felt like forever, he finished up. Pee and drove away like nothing happened. No apology, no shame, no consequences. At first, I thought about calling the construction company to complain. I even took down the truck ID and company name while we were stuck there. But then I realized something. Nothing would happen. Best case scenario? Some board office worker would say, "We'll look into it." Worst case, they'd laugh about it during lunch. And honestly, that irritated me even more, because people like that go through life assuming they can inconvenience everybody else without consequences. They count on everyone being too busy or too tired to do anything about it. And for some reason, that day I decided I wasn't too tired. That night, I came up with a plan so petty it almost made me laugh out loud. I bought a cheap burner phone. Then the next morning, I called the company headquarters, but not in my normal voice. No, I put on my best sweet old man impression. Soft voice, polite tone. The kind of guy who probably says things like, "Gosh darn." I told them I'd seen one of their drivers accidentally drop a large amount of cash near the delivery site yesterday. I even had the exact truck ID, time, and location ready. Immediately, the woman on the phone sounded interested. I said, "I'd really like to return it to the driver. Young people work hard these days." The bait was set. A couple hours later, my burner phone rang. It was him, the delivery driver. And the second he got on the phone, I knew he believed every word. "Hey," he said quickly, "you found some cash?" Not, "What cash?" Not, "I don't think I lost anything." No hesitation whatsoever. That told me everything I needed to know. I kept up the old man act and said, "Yep, Quite a bit, actually. About $1,800. Silence. Then suddenly his tone changed completely. People get real friendly when they think free money is waiting for them. We arranged a meeting spot back in the city near my neighborhood. I intentio. Nally picked the recreation center down the street from my house so I could watch the entire thing unfold from a safe distance. Now remember, this guy lived and worked around 30 to 45 minutes away, meaning he was about to burn a huge chunk of his day chasing money that never existed. Exactly like he'd wasted ours. The timing felt poetic already, so later that afternoon, right on schedule, I got a text. "I'm here." I peeked out my window and there he was. Same guy, same truck. Only this time, instead of acting smug and powerful, he looked excited. He climbed out of the vehicle and immediately lit a cigarette while pacing around outside the rec center. And I swear, you could practically see him mentally spending the money already. Maybe he was thinking about bills. Maybe a new TV. Maybe a weekend trip. Didn't matter, because none of it was real. I texted him back apologetically. "Running a little late. Picking up a prescription." He replied instantly. "No problem." Oh. But there was going to be a problem. 25 minutes passed. 25. I watched this man slowly transform from hopeful to annoyed. He kept checking his phone, looking around, smoking another cigarette, pacing faster now. Then I sent another text. "I'm inside the rec center." Immediately, he jumped out of the truck and stormed inside. A minute later, my phone started ringing. I ignored it, then another call, then another. Finally, I texted back, "Sorry, I saw you, but I'm on the other side of the building and using crutches." Hard to move fast. Back inside he went. At this point, I was struggling not to laugh. Because suddenly this guy understood exactly how frustrating it is when somebody else wastes your time and expects you to just deal with it. More calls, more angry texts. Now he's stomping around the parking lot, furious, looking like he wants to explode. And that's when I decided it was time. I called him, but this time, I used my real voice. "The SEC. "OND," he answered. I said, "Sorry, man, waiting sucks, huh?" Silence. Then I continued. "Remember blocking that entire street during your delivery Monday? I was on the bus you trapped behind you." You could almost hear his brain connecting the dots. I looked out my window and saw him slowly turning in circles, trying to figure out where I was. Then I hit him with the final line. "Well, now you just waited for money that never existed. And by the way, I'm literally watching you from my house right now, you fat asshole." The reaction was incredible. Even from a distance, I could see his face turn bright red. Not embarrassed red, rage red. He started spinning around the parking lot, looking at apartment windows like he was trying to spot a sniper. Then the calls started. Threats, screaming, swearing. Voicemails about how he was gonna find me. But here's the beautiful part. Burner phone. I didn't answer a single one. I just let him spiral. And honestly, that should have been. And the end of it. But for the next few days, every now and then, I'd call him from random hotel lobby phones or blocked numbers just to leave a short message. "Hey, buddy, hope you're not blocking traffic today." Click. Or, "Man, hope you didn't really need that $1,800. Click. Petty? Absolutely. But weirdly satisfying? Even more. Because the whole thing wasn't really about the fake money. It was about consequences. For one brief moment, this guy experienced exactly what he'd forced onto hundreds of strangers. Wasted time, helpless frustration, and simmering anger caused by somebody else's selfishness. Except unlike the people trapped behind his truck, he actually had the option to walk away. And he didn't. That's the funniest part to me. Nobody forced him to drive nearly an hour chasing imaginary cash. His own greed did that. And honestly, every minute he spent pacing around that rec center parking lot probably felt a lot longer than the time we spent, trapped behind his truck. So maybe next time he makes a delivery, he'll think twice before shutting down an entire street and acting like everybody else's lives don't matter. Or maybe he won't, but at least for one glorious afternoon, karma clocked in for work. And honestly, It did a pretty incredible job. If you enjoyed the story, hit that like button and subscribe for more insane Reddit revenge stories every single week. And tell me in the comments, was this revenge justified? Or did the guy take it too far? Also, what's the pettiest revenge you've ever witnessed in real life?